Okay, so for today, I'm out. I apologize, but we're going to do a couple notes this way, and then you have big ideas to complete. So, take out your spiral, write down this problem. We have h squared plus 11h plus 18. If you need to pause the video, go for it. And then when you're ready, we're going to factor this. So when it says just factor, really we're just going to take this and figure out what can go into the two parentheses to factor it. So first, h and h will go in front because that's h squared divvied up into the two parentheses because h times h gives you h squared. So what's our factors of 18? So we have 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. So if I have those, when we add up these guys, which one can give us 11? And the answer is 2 and 9. So we're going to do plus 2 plus 9. So that's your final answer. You're done factoring. If you want to check, h times h is h squared, h times 9. Really, you need to check these two. So h times 9 is 9h. This is 2 times h, which is 2h. Add these together, we get the 11h, which is perfect. Okay, next one. We have, let's write down number 2, and we'll make it a little bit harder. Let's do w squared minus 17w plus 72. Okay, so again, the w squared will go in front, w and w, and then what's factors of 72? Well, we have 1 and 72. We have 2, and what would that be? 36. 3, and we have 72 divided by 3. 3 and 24. We have 8 and 9, which this right here, 8 and 9 is going to give you 17. But what we have to be careful of is this is subtracting 17. So if we put 8 and 9 here, yes, we know that when we FOIL, we have w squared, and then 8 times 9 will be the 72. However, I need to get a negative 17. So I need a negative and a negative, because negative 8 times negative 9 will give us positive 72. And when we FOIL here, we have w times negative 9 is negative 9w. Negative 8 times w is negative 8w. And when you add those, you get your negative 17w. And remember, negative times a negative, that'll give us our positive 72 and w squared in front. Perfect. So your answer is w minus 8 times w minus 9. That's your equation factored. Okay, so next problems. This one we didn't get to on notes, but we're going to do it when there's a negative sign at the end. So for number 3 on our notes today, we're going to have n squared plus 4n minus 12. And then from there, this is a 12, sorry, it's kind of messy. Okay, so from there, what we have to know is this is a negative sign. Okay, don't worry just yet. We have 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. So n will go in front of both parentheses, and we have to know which combo gives you 4, but realize that we have a negative sign, so 1 when we multiply is going to be positive, and when the other one will be negative, because a positive times a negative gives you a negative. So which of these combos, one being positive and one being negative, will give us positive 4? And our answer would be right here. Because if we have a positive 2 and a negative 6, that'll give us negative 4. We don't want that. But if we have a negative 2 and a positive 6, that'll give us positive 4. That's a smiley face, sorry. So let's do n minus 2, n plus 6. And that's it factored. Realize, I don't care if you give me n minus 2 in front times n plus 6 in the back. either one of those would work. They're essentially the same thing. But if you were to FOIL just to check, you have n times n, which is n squared, n times 6, which is plus 6n, negative 2 times n, which is minus 2n, and negative 2 times 6, which is minus 12. Add these, you get 4n, so you have n squared plus 4n minus 12. That's what we started off with. So either of these are your answers when they say factor. Okay, different type of problem. When you have something like this, so they're going to tell you to solve. So I'm going to do 2 more problems with you. Number 4, let's do x squared plus 5x minus 14 equals 0. So they're not just asking you to factor this time, they're asking you to solve the equation. So we have 1 times 14 and 2 times 7. Because 14 is a subtraction sign, when we multiply these, one has to be positive, one has to be negative, because that's negative. So we have to get to 5. 1 and 14, if I take 14 minus 1 or 1 minus 14, that's not going to get us to 5, but 2 and 7 will work. So to get to positive 5, I want to do a positive 7 take away a 2. So minus 2 plus 7, the x's go in front. So that is your quadratic factored, which is fabulous. Now we need to do x plus 7 equals 0. X minus 2 equals 0. So subtract the 7 from both sides. You get x equals negative 7. And then plus 2, x equals 2. And when they say solve, you just take the 2 steps that you've learned, factoring, and then when you have something like this, make equal to 0, you know how to get x's that would make that equal to 0. You do make them equal to 0 and then solve. Okay, last problem. Again, it's going to be a solve the equation problem. However, it's not going to be equal to 0. So if I gave you m squared plus 10 equals 15m minus 34, you can do this. They're saying solve. What would m be to make these guys equal? Well, the first thing to do is make it equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract. I always keep the m squared or x squared, whatever the square term is, I keep that positive. So I'm going to move these over to that side. So I'm going to subtract 15m, and I'm going to add 34. And this is a like term, add 34. So they're gone on this side, we get 0. So 0 on the right side. M squared, there's no other like term, so we just do m squared. Take away 15m, that doesn't have another like term, but 10 and 34 are like terms, so we have plus 44. Okay, so now we have to factor this. So factors of 44, we have 1 and 44, we have 2 and 22, 3 doesn't go in there, 4 and 11, and we can stop there because 4, and I think that's it for the factors, but 4 and 11, they add up to give you 15. So we have m in front, m in the back, and then for 44, I have 4 and 11. But since this is negative, this one's positive, so they're either both going to be positive or they're both going to be negative. Since this is a negative sign, they're both going to be subtraction. So now, and if you wanted to FOIL, you could do m squared minus 11m minus 4m, and then plus 44, and that gives you negative 15m, which is what we wanted up there. So that works. So we're going to come back to this. We're not done. That was just a check. We need to solve for m. So we have m minus 4 equals 0, and m minus 11 equals 0. So then when I solve for m, I get m equals positive 4, and m equals 11. So those are your answers. The remainder of the period, you'll be working on big ideas, and that's it. If you have any problems, this is what I'll tell you. If you have any problems, don't submit the big ideas. Leave the big ideas open. It won't be late, but you'll ask me those problems tomorrow in class.